Hello, my name is Kevin Epifano, and I'm here to take you through the procedures of conducting a flipped classroom. Now, the first step in conducting a flipped classroom would be to create some sort of online classroom presence. You can do this either through setting up your own personal classroom website or use what I use, Edmodo. If you haven't used Edmodo yet, it's pretty awesome. It's like Facebook for teachers and students, except not Facebook, if you know what I mean. You can set up a classroom Twitter, maybe a YouTube channel, just something of that nature to have your students signing online to engage in your classroom. The next step is to take your pre-existing content, whether it's a PowerPoint on Alexander the Great or a Prezi on how a bill becomes a law, and record yourself teaching the lesson, sort of like what I'm doing right now. The programs that you can use to do this could be what I'm using right now, Screencast-O-Matic. You can get that at screencast-o-matic.com. You can use Tegrity. Google, I believe, has the same sort of program. Now, the benefits of doing a flipped classroom are that you can still do what you would do in the classroom with direct instruction, except you won't have any interruptions while you're doing it. Meaning, no, you can't go to the bathroom right now, this is pretty important, or Johnny, stop flirting with Susie, or David, we'll talk about Call of Duty at a more appropriate time. You can still use the jokes, you can still clarify the misconceptions that you think your students are going to have, you can still go through the vocabulary, everything that you would do in the classroom you can still do. Now, it's really important to have your students doing something while they're listening to your presentation. You wouldn't go into your classroom tomorrow and give a direct instruction without having your students doing something with that direct instruction. All right, you know your students are going to zone out. Just like online. If you don't have your students doing something during your presentation online, then they're going to click on their Facebook, their Instagram, and they're totally going to zone out. What I like to use with my students is Cornell Notes, guided notes, worksheets, writing prompts, short writes, something of that nature to keep them busy during your presentation. The next day in class, it's really important to refer back to the content in your presentation. You can have your students write down 3 things that they learned during the presentation for bell work. I like to have my students during the presentation, if they have any sort of questions, write it down, ask me the next day in class, just something of that sort to have your students refer back to the content. Now the next part is the fun part. This is where you actually get to teach. Have your students engage in the content and deepen their knowledge either through traditional homework, group work, or a hands-on project. The awesome part about this is that it frees you, the teacher, up to actually teach the students, meaning that your classroom, how it's set up, is most likely not everybody's a high achiever. Most likely you have the traditional classroom that everybody's at a different achieving level. So it frees you up to actually work with those students that need one-on-one help, to work with your ESOL students in reading skills, or to work with your advanced students and enrich their knowledge more in the content. Once again, my name is Kevin Epifano, and it's been a pleasure going through the procedures of a flipped classroom.